Thanks for joining us at a brand new episode of the VP. This is episode 17 with Dan Uyemura. Um, Dan is a visionary entrepreneur, software expert, and the CEO of PushPress. He's on a mission to help gym owners leverage technology for sustainable growth with deep expertise in business metrics, agile mindset, and wealth creation. Dan has become a respected thought leader advocating for ethical business practices in an industry often clouded by exploitative tactics. His journey from paper routes to pioneering fitness tech is one of resilience and innovation. So let's dive into the episode and hear from Dan himself. Dan, thanks again um, for joining me here on this episode of the VP.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to chatting today.
Yeah, so as let's kind of per se, you've built a name in the fitness and tech space. What inspired you to start Push Press, your current organization, and how did your journey lead you there?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty. I basically grew up as my early career as a software engineer,
Hmm.
and I was just tired of sitting at my desk coding all the time.
Hmm.
So I got laid off. I was working at MySpace at the time. I
Hmm.
got laid off, and I just decided I just found high intensity interval training type fitness, and I really
Yeah.
loved it. And I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna take some time off work and open a gym.
Hmm.
So I did that, and when I did that, I realized because I've built software and I knew what software, technology trends were going and where they
Hmm.
were, I just felt all the software companies that were supporting gyms at the time were very inadequate.
Yeah.
And I just decided to try and write my own. I thought, what the hell, just write my own. And it's slow. It was a very, very slow process, but it kind of snowballed into what PushPress is today, I guess.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So even the chain gyms and like the big bollies, they were working with what you felt was software that was either inadequate or didn't hit all the check all the boxes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know about the big gyms. I
Hmm.
opened a boutique, like a little CrossFit gym.
Oh, okay, I got
And
you.
so we but mostly have been working in that type of space, a small single owner
Hmm.
operated gym.
Yeah.
But I know the bigger chains have either written their own or have partnered with
Oh,
software,
okay.
and uh, just in general, the software
I
fitness
got you.
space is pretty bad.
I got you. Okay. So a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners struggle with adapting to technology. How did you navigate the tech world uh, to build a successful business?
Well, I kind of remember I came up in it, so I
Oh,
was
okay. Oh,
in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's we can probably skip that. Oh, we can probably skip that question. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. Okay, I think you kind of touched on that, in the beginning.
Yep.
Let me kind of dig into the decisions and mistakes, etc. Looking back, what were some of the mistakes that you think that you made in your early entrepreneurial career? Because we've all made them. Because of one reason or another.
Hmm.
And what lessons do you feel you learned from those mistakes?
Um, I mean, I think the two biggest mistakes I would go back to my earlier self and work with me on is the first one is building a product.
Hmm.
Unless you're Apple and you've got like $1 billion behind you, product
Hmm.
isn't enough.
Hmm.
You got to learn how to market. You got to learn how to sell. You got to
Hmm.
learn how to position and counter position. And I
Hmm.
naively thought when we were first building PushPress that if you build the best product, you'll win, and that is not the
Hmm.
case. Um, And the second thing that I think I would go back and change if I had the ability to, or if I started another company ever again, I would do this from the get-go, is be very data centric from the get-go. At the time when we built PushPress, we knew data would be important and we actually structured things accordingly. But what we didn't think through was our business metrics, go-to-market metrics, like real deep ways for us to understand what our market looked like, what our business looked like, how we were trending, how we were tracking. Hold on, dogs. Not just the data of our clients and the data shape that we needed to build the actual application. It was more so the data that we needed to build the informed business.
Oh, okay. So you would have preferred that you were data centric, so you can become data driven from the get go. Okay, awesome. If we can kind of dive into growth and strategy here. You emphasized the importance of Northstar metrics. I was kind of curious about that. How can you break that down? On what that means, and for small business owners, yeah, especially for business owners making under 5 million. What is the nitty gritty behind North Star metrics, etc.
Um, when you're a small company and like let's just maybe it's you and 3 or 4 or 5 other people, the North Star metric isn't as important. Where it gets important is when you have maybe 20 plus people in an organization, or your customer base is getting to a point that they don't understand who you are and what you stand for. I think the biggest flaw I see in North Star metrics in general is companies start to center around what I call output metrics. That would be like if I ask a company, oh, what's your North Star metric, and they tell me revenue or customers or number of subscriptions sold. To me, those are the result of doing something, and you should center your North Star around doing something, right? So instead of customer count, you could, I think an easier North Star metric would be like a customer acquisition number, because that's actually something you can drive to. But if you want to be even more prescriptive about that, it could be like you come up with, like here's an example. YouTube has a North Star metric, or had a North Star metric of minutes of video watched. Because they found that was the number one thing that turned into what became the path to revenue, but it wasn't revenue. It was actually something they could set their team forth. Like the marketers know how to make people watch more videos. The engineers know how to make people watch more. Like it makes you can do something about it. Right? And so I think the biggest trap people fall into is they'll go like, oh, I want to make more money. My North Star metric is revenue per month. Where in reality, you should be thinking through how you service your customers in a way that make them want to pay you.
Okay, I got you. Revenue is the outcome, and you don't want to be focused on that. Okay.
Yeah, the way so I work in the gym industry, and the way I teach gym owners about this, I'm like, if someone came to the gym and they said, I want to lose weight, that could be the goal, but that's not what you do, right? And what the North Star metric, if you came into my gym, would be is like how many minutes you show up and you work out in the gym. Because if you want to lose weight, you have to put in the minutes.
I got you.
Right? And so that way I get the customer centered on minutes in gym is your goal, not pounds lost.
Yeah.
Okay. You do one, you get the other, but you can't just get the other without doing one.
Yeah. Okay, so it's what you do, to put it simply.
Yeah, that's why we call it an input metric. It's what you can affect.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. So the agile mindset, it's huge in the software world, of course. How can small business owners apply it to their businesses? Okay, so let's just say for instance, I'm a coffee shop owner. Just to use a business like that, that's relatable. How can a small coffee shop, apply something like agile metrics, the agile mindset, rather, in order to become effective and efficient?
Yeah, I'll preface it with this: the more entropy in your business system, or the more it changes, the world around you changes, the more you have to be agile. That goes without saying, right?
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, if you owned a parking lot in Kansas, you don't have to be too agile. Like people come, they park, they go. There's no chaos that's happening. In software, there's disruption happening in our providers, in the hardware, in the software, in internet speeds. Like everything's changing all the time, so we have to be really agile.
Oh,
For
okay.
coffee shop owner, probably more towards the lens of parking lot
Oh, okay. I got you.
as
Okay.
opposed to software.
I see.
But
I see.
it still can apply. It still can apply, right? Like, imagine two different coffee shop owners. One, you come in every day, take your order, I give you coffee, you go on your way. The second one, every time you come in, I ask you a question. Are you ever hungry when you show up? What's your favorite type of breakfast food? Do you prefer low calorie or high calorie? Are you eating for comfort or are you eating for nutrition? You can start to actually understand your consumer base. You might have an opinion, and 900 other people might have an opinion. And after asking all that question 1,000 times, you're going to be like, I should never sell breakfast food. Or if I sell breakfast food, I should make the fattiest, greasiest thing because they're eating for comfort and convenience, not for nutrition.
Yeah.
And that is an agile mindset in and of itself, is like learning from your customers, not being rigid.
Yeah.
And adapting to what the market wants.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Or if you notice, like every time customers come in, they want a small coffee and all you serve a large coffee, then you, being agile would be like, well, let's start selling small coffees and see how it goes.
Yeah.
The one lesson I will tell people listening is you can build agility into your business without risk by building what's called a two-way door mindset, which is basically like, you want to test selling small coffees, sell it for a week. And just see, like you've only bought a week's worth of cups, and if they don't sell, you've lost $100. But if they do sell, you get some information, and you can always go back and not do it again. You know, so that's what's called a two-way door.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. For service businesses, scaling can be tricky. What strategies have you seen that work best for sustainable growth for businesses that offer services, etc.?
That's a good question. I think the way I think about scaling is it has to start with the customer. So there's no real point if you're trying to scale without increasing your customer value equally. You're playing short-term games, and I don't believe business works in short-term games. Right? So for instance, like right now, I can go to my client base and just raise prices. I can do things to artificially inflate my current situation, but if I haven't equally increased client value, or I would argue if I haven't 10x increased customer value, that's going to peter out, and I'm gonna have to pay it back later on. I'm gonna lose customers, I'm gonna lose things because I artificially try to inflate things. So in order to scale, first of all, you got to center around the customer, and in my opinion, you should be delivering at least 5 times the value that you try to scale up into. Right? The second thing is thinking in inputs and outputs is probably a good starting point, because as you scale, if you can center your mindset around what drives scale and what drives growth, as opposed to what growth do I want to hit, you'll probably have a better chance of growing. The concepts of tailwinds and headwinds, which it kind of backs into this concept of manufacturing success.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Like at my gym, my first gym, we had an introductory week. When you joined my gym, you got an introductory week, which we put you through 5 successive workouts that made you learn a little bit more every day. But on the last day, we had you retest the first day. So the first day was really easy. It was like a little bit of running, some push-ups and some sit-ups 4 times. And the last day, you've learned all this stuff, but I have you redo the basic easy one again. And everyone will beat their time.
Yeah.
And in the CrossFit world, it's about getting faster, stronger, better. And we told them that all week. By the time they hit the end of the week, we're like, okay, we're going to retest what we did the first time. We're going to see if what we did worked, because if you did, you should be able to beat your time. Right? So I manufactured a loop that created a success point, because you've retaken it, and you have knowledge about what you're going to do better.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so I've manufactured that loop that gives them the happy moment, which actually creates a momentum for them to want to continue. That was intentionally done. So you have to build those things into your business. Like intentionally think about what you want the outcome to be, and then how do you manufacture the steps to get there so that it happens more often than not. right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
The
didn't.
last one, real quick, is called is leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to think in terms of leverage. So, if, like for instance, over the weekend, I spent dozens of hours writing an online course for my clients who use some part of my software that I
Mm-hmm.
built.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them straight up, trying to teach them, the reason I did this, I spent 50 hours of CEO time building an
Yeah.
educational course. Why did I do that? Because it's going to sit in that educational system forever.
Mm-hmm.
Every customer that come through is going to be able to use this and make their gym better. So
Mm-hmm.
that 50 hours up front is worth, 10 years from now is worth way more than it is today, and it gets worth more every day. So you have
Yeah.
to do things that create leverage over time.
Oh, okay. So things that create leverage that last for for a significant amount of time.
Either they last for a significant amount of time, or they
Mm-hmm.
increase in value as they get used, or just
Mm-hmm.
like think of leverage points. Like one unit
Mm-hmm.
of energy now turns into like 10, 100, 1,000 units of value later without any more work. That's
Yeah.
leverage.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That definitely makes sense. Um. So, what do you think financial literacy? What do you think it comes in for business longevity, and what financial habits do you recommend for entrepreneurs?
Okay, so we're talking basically brick and mortar, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Okay, so in that case, I think a sense of frugality is important.
hmm
Um, your cash flow is your life.
hmm
And it doesn't matter what business you're in, you're probably doing it because you're trying to help people or change lives or bring some good to the world.
hmm
And if that is the case, then if you go out of business, you cannot bring good to the world.
hmm
And going out of business can be a one-time event, meaning like you go negative 10,000 in your checking account, you got to pay rent and payroll, you're done. Like
hmm
there's no coming back from that. So you
hmm
have to be very mindful. I would try to stay away from checkbook accounting, which is a lot of what a lot of small businesses do. I did it when I run my gym. Like,
hmm
oh, I got 3,000 in the checking account. Let's go buy a new barbell or something. Like,
hmm
you don't plan for things. You just do it because you have money. Because that's when you can actually get to a point where you run dangerously low.
hmm
So yeah, first and foremost, you got to survive.
hmm
Um, and I've long had this theory that business is kind of like life. If you look at life in the long run, not like our human lives, but life on Earth, meaning
hmm
like if you don't go extinct, something might happen in the future that really makes you pop. And you
hmm
don't know when that is or why that is or how that's going to be, but you just have to be de facto alive in order for it
hmm
to happen,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So I think that, again, that just goes back to fiscal responsibility and making sure that you understand how you're spending your money and you're careful spending your money.
hmm
Because if you die, tomorrow might bring the biggest break that you
hmm
could have had in your life. And if you're dead, you're dead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Let's dive a little bit into mission and mindset, etc. Um, what does it mean to be a white hat cowboy in a black hat room? I think that was on the dashboard or on the bio
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, but it kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah.
What does it mean, and kind of how does it relate to ethical business practice?
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, this is a throwback or a nod to the idea that back in the Western movies,
Hmm
the guy wearing the black outfit and the black hat was the villain or whatnot,
hmm
and the hero was always white. I entered this industry because I opened a gym, and when I opened a gym, I basically got ripped off by the software company and the payments company I was working with,
Yeah.
which pissed me off to the tune that one, I decided to start my own company, and two, I started asking other gym owners, and they all were getting ripped off too.
hmm
And so what it made me realize is there's a predatory nature, probably in all small business vendors.
hmm
Like if you have some huge payments company selling services into a tiny hardware store, probably the hardware store is getting ripped off because they're not as sophisticated. They don't have as much information. They don't have as much time. Like the
hmm
whole transaction is stacked against them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I vowed to do was to build a company from within the industry out that would be in service of the industry, not at odds with it,
Oh, okay, I
you
got
know? And so that's what we've done,
you. Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Um, Here's one that's might not necessarily be uh technology related or strategy related, but it's important. So a lot of small business owners, especially veterans transitioning into business, struggle with self doubt, etc., or something along those lines. What advice would you give business owners like that on overcoming these sort of mental roadblocks?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, I think we're all in our own heads all the time, and we
Hmm.
all and
Hmm.
go, that person's got it locked down. And the reality is, no one does.
Hmm.
At least no one does in the beginning. And everybody, like right now, where I'm at, I look at CEOs who are further along than me, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. They have it locked down.
Hmm.
It doesn't ever change, so it doesn't matter. Like, just roll with it. You're always, if you're doing the right things,
Hmm.
you should always be uncomfortable. And if you're doing the right things, you should always be feeling like you're not ready for where you are. The
Hmm.
only way to be ready for where you are is just to be in the same spot all the time.
Oh man, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that makes
So that's
sense. Yeah.
like, if you're growing,
Hmm.
you should always be uncomfortable. And
Hmm.
so you should just get comfortable being uncomfortable. That is
Hmm.
probably the biggest thing to like my company now.
Hmm.
I mean, recently we were valued at like over 100 million as a
Hmm.
company.
Hmm.
It took us 8 years to be valued 2 million. And in the last 4 years we went from 2 million to over 100 million.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Hmm.
those 8 years though, I almost quit several
Hmm.
times. So you have to believe in what you're doing. I tell all founders this now. Like, if you don't believe in what you're doing and you're just trying to make a buck, don't do it,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
it's going to literally be 10,000 times harder than you think it was.
Hmm.
I believed in this industry and I knew how to build software and I thought it would be easy, and it took me 8 years to get anywhere.
Hmm.
So believe in what you do, have a lot of resiliency,
Hmm.
be super humble, meaning like take advice and information you can get from everyone and anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, digging into that, I actually think this is something I've been developing lately. The theory is like good business people absorb so much information
Hmm.
like all the time that they develop a good gut instinct because they have so much information to base the feeling around.
Hmm.
Whereas people who don't actively absorb information, they don't really have a basis for their feelings. So like
Hmm.
people's feelings have different value
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
business for some, in a weird way.
Hmm.
So like develop your intuition by
Oh, okay.
absorbing as much information as you can.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So what is one piece of advice you wish you had when you first started out? Because your journey obviously involved uh, resilience and continuous learning, based on the level of learning and knowledge base that you have now. Uh, is there something that you wish that you knew when you first started out, or?
Um, I mean, there's a million things I wish I knew. A lot of it centers around operational excellence, which we haven't
Hmm.
really touched on, having access to data, knowing your business inside and out.
Hmm.
Um, I think me personally, I would have, I needed to, or I need to invest a little bit more in, again, being operational,
Hmm.
meaning like, this is more of a military. I mean, military people that I've hired are great at this. It's like I know exactly how to picture the org chart. I know exactly the ascension chart that people need to take. I know
Hmm.
the pay scales and the rankings and the just like
Hmm.
operational excellence. I'm not good at.
Hmm.
So my CRO is an ex-marine, and it's like he was, when it came to like building our org chart, I was just like all fuzzy and hazy, and he's like, here it is, like this is how it stacks, this is how it ranks, this is ascension, this is how long you need to go from here to here. This is
Oh man!
And I was like, and honestly, like since this is a military audience, I was like, there is really something beneficial that being in the military brought to the people that I work with that are in the military. Like the amount of rigor they have and structure and the way they see the world is so opposite of me, because I never had that upbringing. But yeah, there's something to that. So, I mean, sometimes I go back and I think if I was 18 again, maybe I should have went in the military, because it would have rounded me out in a way that I'm really weak at right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. So let me ask you something though. Okay. So I know you are okay. You mentioned earlier that as long as you continue growing, you should always be uncomfortable. So is there a in your industry, is there a framework that you feel um, that if business owners coming into your area, or maybe even in small business in general, do you feel that there's a framework that will be beneficial for a business owner coming in to follow versus not, following that framework and just kind of winging it? Does such a thing exist? Do you feel, or I guess maybe, or some people might call it a set of standardized checklists that you
Yeah.
um
If we're going to speak directly to the small business market, meaning like a coffee shop or gym owner,
yeah.
I think I would lean towards the book called E-Myth.
E-Myth.
Yeah, E-Myth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it basically describes the plight of every small business owner. It's like you started baking because you loved baking, and your friends and your family told you you should start a bakery. Your cupcakes are so amazing. And once you start baking, you realize you're the CEO and you're the janitor and you're the supply chain logistics manager and you're everything.
Yeah.
Your sales, your marketing, and that overwhelm of that takes the joy out of baking. This is the premise of the book.
Oh,
and in the book, it kind of outlays a framework of, say, this is how you structure what your org chart. It starts with org chart, right? Like write down every job you do and give it a title: janitor, salesperson, supply chain logistics, whatever. Write it all down and put your name in every box, because you have every job in the whole business. And then it kind of gives you a framework for breaking it back so you can start hiring the highest leverage positions.
Okay. So it's important to start with the highest leverage positions.
Yeah. Generally speaking, it'll be the highest leverage, cheapest to hire, and lowest skill set. So I can't remember what the examples are in the bakery, but for instance, in a gym, it would be hire a coach, because one coach can take 4 hours a day on the floor. They're interacting with 20 clients per hour for you. So it's they're managing 100 people at a time a day for you. You pay them to do that.
Yeah.
You buy back 4 hours so you can now focus on being a better janitor.
Oh,
and then you buy the janitor. And then you don't do that anymore, and you focus. It's like
oh man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember the exact framework, but the way I would personally approach it is like, you buy back some leverage, hire a coach, and then you might have to buy back some of the things that cannot or non-negotiable, like keeping the place clean, making sure the doors are opened on time. Buy back some of that, and then you can start thinking like, okay, now I want to grow, so I'm gonna hire a marketing person, or I'm gonna hire a salesperson, or I'm gonna hire a growth whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's very, very insightful. Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I really thank you for coming on, man. I wish we could stay longer, but I think that's kind of the meat and potatoes on this. So. Is there anything major that you have planned for your organization that's coming in the future that people should look forward, that people should look forward to, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, there's a lot of things we're working on. For
Yeah.
me, it's I am in the mode of trying to become much more operationally effective. Kind of what we were talking about. being a better manager, being a better
Yeah.
leader, learning how to communicate better. Like I'm shifting fully into like learning how to be a good leader who's running
Yeah.
a sound organization.
Oh wow, wow, oh, awesome. Yeah. So I mean, where can people follow you on social media? You know, on Instagram, X, etc.
Yep. For some reason, my account is blocked on X. I don't know how to get into it, so I'm not there anymore. But my Instagram is at Danielson, like the Karate Kid guy.
Yeah.
Danielsan. I do try and put out mindset and business tips every day. And that's pretty much it. I hang out on Instagram.
Okay. So, and what's the website again?
What's that?
What is the website for your organization?
Oh, pushpress.com.
Okay, pushpress.com.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome, awesome. Yeah, yeah. I really like the framework stuff, and I'm gonna follow up with you on the book so I can put it in the description.
Okay.
Yeah, Dan, thank you so much, man, for coming on, and it's so awesome, and I'm sure running an organization and being someone that has gone through the journey that you've gone through. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will pick up a lot from this episode. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me. It's fun.
All right.